Hello and welcome to the debut podcast of Rock and Roll Ghost. Used to be an online website. Now we're heading into podcast territory. Joining everyone and their uncle on this territory. Today we have an interview with writer, actor, and soon-to-be director Adam G. Simon. He currently is promoting the movie Point Blank on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you can see this movie, not in theaters, only on Netflix. Point Blank stars Frank Grillo, who you may remember from such movies as The Grey, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and other action films, primarily. Frank Grillo is a very tough, intimidating-looking guy. So, if you've seen any of his films, you will recognize him. It also co-stars Anthony Mackie, Grillo's co-star in Captain America, The Winter Soldier. And apparently, these two are good friends, so the chance to work together over this project proved fortuitous. In the film, directed by Joe Lynch, who did Everly with Salma Hayek, and Mayhem, which came out a few years ago, the virus in a building, office building movie that turned everyone insane and wanted to kill each other, which is a wild movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking out Mayhem. Anthony Mackie plays a nurse with a pregnant wife who has the unfortunate luck of getting Frank Grillo as his patient, who is a criminal with some good intentions, let's say. Grillo's character Abe steals or has possession of a hard drive, let's say that, that will indicate the litany of bad political figures, police officers, and other assorted criminal underworld types in a vast conspiracy in the city of Cincinnati. The police obviously don't want him to make this public, so they try to go after him. Unfortunate events happen. Grillo ends up in the hospital, and Grillo's brother in the film, played by Christian Cook, forces Anthony Mackie's hand into helping get Grillo out and getting him safely to his brother. From there, a bunch of other cool action scenes, including one in a car wash that, as far as I know, and as far as the creators have been able to find out, is the first actual fight scene in a car wash. Chase scenes, shootouts, and other assorted badassery happens during Point Blank. It's a fast-paced, action-packed, streamlined ode to the 80s and 90s action films. If you want a comparison, the creators are leaning on Lethal Weapon, which might be a little auspicious. I would say something like what Walter Hill perhaps did in the 80s. Think Johnny Handsome, Lean and Mean. Movies that you probably would watch at home on VHS. So Netflix kind of works out, perfectly for that. So we talked with Adam, who has had a long and storied history. So today we'll be talking to Adam Simon, again, writer, actor, and soon-to-be director. And you can follow Adam on Twitter, which I highly advise you do, at Adam Simon Actor, ADAMSIMONACTOR. He's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of cool videos surrounding the release of Point Blank, including one where he maniacally hangs out of a car window waving a point blank flag, and another where he watches the trailer for his film that he wrote as if he didn't know anything was happening. Adam's quite a character. He's a good guy. He's one of the real people out there. I said this recently. I've interviewed countless hundreds of people, and I can say for a certainty that Adam is really straight up real when you're talking to him. Like any real people, that tends to probably get him in trouble. But his soul is clean, so I'm sure he sleeps better because of it. So a little bit about Adam. He worked as a sales producer for James Cameron. He had a career in security where he went all over the world protecting various clients. He's done a lot of different jobs in the film business. He was homeless. We didn't touch on that in this conversation. We had a first conversation where the audio didn't come out well, where we did touch on it. But if you're interested in finding out more, I suggest looking up the movie Crypt by filmmakers Adam Green and the aforementioned Joe Lynch, where Adam was a guest about a year or so ago, right before Adam and Joe set out to make Point Blank. Adam discusses a lot of things, including his homelessness, which is a real problem in the Hollywood community for working people in the industry. It's it's a problem everywhere, but when you're actually working and you can't afford to live anywhere, it's a sad state of affairs. But Adam wrote the movie Man Down in 2015, directed by Dido Montiel, starring Shia LaBeouf, and pretty sure I'm getting that right. It always sounds weird, LaBeouf, coming out of my mouth. Excuse me. He's done Point Blank. He's worked on a number of other scripts that are in process. He goes on to explain that he's working on a series with fellow actor, writer, friend Noah Danby, and he has a film called Raquel coming out eventually. That's his first feature that he plans on directing. And he also is working pretty tightly with the aforementioned Frank Grillo and also Joe Carnahan, whose War Party Films produced Point Blank. Earlier this year, they came out with El Chicano, directed by Ben Bray, which is on video at the end of this month. It's another really good piece of action filmmaking. For the money it costs, I think it was like $7 million to produce El Chicano. Ben Bray gets a lot of really good action scenes in that one. Bray is a stuntman, and he's directed several TV show episodes. He's done a lot of work on the CW for their superhero show, including one of my favorite Legends of Tomorrow episodes, the mid-season finale from last season. War Party also produced Wheelman with Frank Grillo, that's on Netflix, which is another film I highly suggest you check out. It's again, very tight, very focused, like 90 minutes of action. These guys are really good at really streamlining the process and keeping things tight and on point. And like El Chicano, Point Blank was made for a very small amount of money, $12 million, which, sure, $12 million to you or I is a lot of money, but for a film nowadays, considering what Avengers Endgame cost $300 million or something, it's a pretty bizarre miracle that you can make a film that looks as good and moves as well as Point Blank does for $12 million. It's quite a shock, actually. You just wonder, did no one eat on the set? Things like that. War Party's next project, which I'm just on a rant right now to promote War Party because they've got a lot of cool things in the hopper, is Carnahan's Boss Level. Again, Frank Grillo is part of War Party and stars in Boss Level alongside Mel Gibson, who admittedly we could have an argument about Mel Gibson still being a bankable star in Hollywood. I personally am erring on the side of forgiveness. I'd rather send my scorn for someone like Woody Allen or Kevin Spacey at this point. But yeah, Mel Gibson's in Boss Level, and some other very fine actors as well. That's coming out in the near future. Just had a conversation with Joe Carnahan, and he's not 100% certain. Originally it was going to be August 16th, but as no trailer, and we're less than a month away yet, doesn't look like August 16th is a definite. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that looks really good. I actually had a chance to visit the set of that film, and it does seem like it's going to be pretty cool. And Joe's done. I mean, Joe's credits. You may not like all the films, perhaps, I don't know, but he did Narc with Jason Patric and Ray Liotta. He did Smokin' Aces with Ryan Reynolds. He did The A-Team, which, okay, you're saying The A-Team. Hey, The A-Team is actually pretty fun. It's ridiculous, but it's fun. And Bradley Cooper's in it, Liam Neeson. And then he did The Grey with Liam Neeson. And The Grey, in my opinion, stands up as one of the best films of all time. And that's one, if you haven't seen The Grey, you must check out The Grey. He also did Stretch with Patrick Wilson, which is a lot of fun. Features a crazy performance by Chris Pine. I was blanking on his name from it. There's so many Chris's in Hollywood right now. That's a lot of fun, too. But Joe's mostly been producing and writing the last several years, but he's back in the director's chair for Boss Level. And Joe, Frank, and Adam's next project is a remake of The Raid. The Raid was a film centered on two brothers, one a criminal, one a police officer, perhaps a military police officer. My memory's hazy. And it's all set in this building with some really crazy fight choreography and action scenes. And they're calling, Adam in particular is calling The Raid a reimagining. So look for that to start filming perhaps by the end of the year. Hopefully a year later, maybe a year and a half, it'll be out. But that ought to be pretty cool. But so Adam's got a lot of things in the fire. He's got Point Blank out now. He's got The Raid coming up next. He's working on a series. He's got Raquel in the pipeline, and he's, always busy writing. He's always busy hustling. And I'm not sure if he gets into it in the interview or not. I kind of forget. This is a really well-oiled machine, folks. There's no producer here. It's just me and my really shitty memory. But it's all out of a drive to not be homeless again. That period of homelessness, that period of despair drives him to this day. He doesn't have much time for anything past, really close friends, work, his kids, and that's about it. He did manage to have some time to talk to me, which is great. So before we get to but before we get to talking to Adam, I wanted to go over a little bit of the new releases that I have been able to see. Now, these aren't completely up to date. I still have to see Stuber and Midsummer, but I will be discussing a few new films. First up is the big Marvel Disney release Spider-Man Far From Home, the sequel to the very huge Spider-Man Homecoming film. And Spider-Man Far From Home, Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, really well played by Tom Holland. He's, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man Peter Parker they could have possibly found. He's just come back from the snap, in quotes, from the Avengers films, and he just wants to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's dealing with the loss of his mentor, and he is about to go on this class trip to Europe, and he wants to profess his love to MJ, played by Zendaya, who is kind of everywhere right now. The film starts out with him basically ghosting Nick Fury, with Jon Favreau playing Happy Hogan, insisting you do not ghost Nick Fury. But he does, and Nick ends up showing up on his European vacation to tell him that he needs his help, and Fury introduces Spider-Man Peter Parker to Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who apparently is from a different universe that, through all the business that happened in the last two Avengers films, opened up some sort of portal between worlds. So, a bit much, but it gets explained in the film. Mysterio and Spider-Man ostensibly defeat the big monsters that have come from Mysterio's world, and then there's, a twist to the story. You find out certain people aren't who they're actually saying they are, and it takes a tremendous amount for Peter to step up to the plate of his mentor in order to become the hero he needs to be. Basically, my opinion of the film is that it's a fun ride. It's funny, it's exciting. It pops up the screen. I got to see it I go to see every big film I can in a Dolby Cinema. These are usually at AMC, and it's not really a plug, it's just where I go. I've got that A-list pass thing, and it's like 3 movies free a week. I'm sold. I don't go see 3 movies a week. This would have been perfect for the guy I was back in the 80s and 90s. I would have been paying a lot less for movies, but they didn't have this technology back when I was growing up. But anyways, yeah, so seeing it in a premium theater like that is always the best way. Just everything rumbles. You get this great screen, big screen, like a theater should be, quite honestly. And again, the amazing sound you really can't get anywhere else. Considering how small and crappy movie theaters, the screens have gotten, where you can hear the movie from the next door if one's too quiet and one's too loud. It's a real miracle that people have actually started to think about the experience of going to a movie being a key to getting people to come out. The biggest problem I had while watching the movie wasn't the movie itself necessarily. Normally I go to this particular type of theater because the tickets are like $18, So that tends to cut out the riffraff, when you have to pay almost double what a normal ticket costs. But somebody, for whatever reason, decided to bring their kids, and their kids were being a pain in the ass, and That always tends to distract from a movie. Not terribly. Wasn't as bad as the time I went and saw Man of Steel, and this kid was causing a real commotion throughout the entire thing and really taking my eyes and attention off the screen. But the film itself, honestly, is a bit of a letdown. I'm not quite sure. I don't have tremendous critiques to say. I think that they just kind of went too big too soon, maybe. There was something about Spider-Man Homecoming which was perfectly small, and the villain, Michael Keaton's villain, the Vulture, in the first one was so damn good. Marvel's had a bit of a rough go with villains. Honestly, my favorite villains have been Vulture, Loki, Thanos is really good, but some of them have been kind of downright either dull or bad. The heroes shine really well in Marvel films. Now, the opposite tends to be true in DC. The villains tend to be better, with the exception of Wonder Woman and Aquaman. They weren't that great. The heroes stood out better. But Marvel's got a real villain problem. And the fact that they kill so many of them doesn't help either. But, that's a situation for later. It just feels like it's a little bit overstuffed. It doesn't feel as organic, perhaps, as it should have been. And the way the movie ends with one of its after-credit sequences, which I'm not going to ruin, but it leads to potentially more complications, in my opinion. However, Tom Holland and the cast are great. Things zip along. It is funny. It's a bit ridiculous. I mean, it is a Spider-Man after all. But in the end, it's worth the money. It's not been a particularly good year so far for movies, in my opinion. I haven't seen many that I've seen a lot that I've liked. I haven't seen many that I've loved. And this is firmly in the like category. It'll get a rewatch, maybe two. But I'll probably end up watching Homecoming more in the scheme of things. So, look for that if you're interested in just kind of turning off the mind for a little bit. Next up is Toy Story 4, which I think I saw one of the Toy Stories in the theater. I can't remember which one exactly. Maybe the second one, wasn't the third. Could have been the first one, but I've seen all of them. I'm not a huge Toy Story fan. The third one probably affected me the most. The loss of, the growing up, the losing of your innocence, basically, not in a dirty way, but in a growing up, maturing way. Getting rid of your toys. That really spoke to me in the third one. The fourth one really feels like something that didn't need to be made. It's fun. It, again, zips through. Tom Hanks does a great job as Woody. There's a good supporting cast with Key and Peele as a couple of attached stuffed animals from a carnival. But it just doesn't feel like past making money it had any real purpose of being. I'm not a huge Tim Allen fan, but it was kind of weird the fact that Buzz Lightyear was a key point of the first three movies. He's a bit, thrown into sub-supporting category this time around. But again, it's fun. Kids will love it. It's not one of Pixar's best. For me, The Incredibles. The first Incredibles film is probably my favorite animated film of all time, and one of the best superhero films of all time as well. It's rather surprisingly good and still holds up. But this one, it's fine. If you're an adult and you're taking your kids, you won't hate it, probably, but unless you have no soul. But it's a good time. Now, the way it ends, I don't know if there's a way to do a Toy Story 5, and maybe there shouldn't be. But, who knows? I think they made 3 Cars films, and I've never seen one of them, so anything's possible, I guess. So yeah, Toy Story 4, liked it, didn't love it. What was the other most recent film I saw? You'd have to go back a little bit too far, I think. Been a little lax in going to see films. I guess I could talk about a couple of the other ones I saw. I did see Men in Black International. Another I don't know what the point was in redoing this, but Chris Hemsworth, Thor from the Avengers and I guess Thor films, and Tessa Thompson from Creed and from Sorry to Bother You and from Thor Ragnarok. Her and Hemsworth were such a dynamic duo on screen in Thor Ragnarok that, just seeing them together again is kind of cool. And those two will reprise their roles apparently in Thor 4, which hopefully it's not called Thor 4 because it sounds like a person with a lisp would have a real hard time with that. And I'm going to butcher this name because I haven't heard it spoken out loud, Taika Waititi, the guy, the New Zealand dude that had something to do with, that made What We Do in the Shadows and directed Thor Ragnarok. He's back on board, so I pretty much can guarantee that one's going to be really good too. If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, you don't even have to see the other Thor movies, quite frankly. It zips by and features a stellar performance from Jeff Goldblum, who I would watch a whole film of as that character, quite frankly. If there's one thing, and it would be ridiculous to bring him back, but if there's one thing in the new Thor movie I hope is that the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum, is in it and has more on-screen time. But I would guess that we're not going to see Jeff Goldblum in the next one. But yeah, Men in Black International. There's no real point. All these sequels and reboots and stuff, a lot of times there's no point. The word from behind the scenes was that the director, I believe F. Gary Gray, who did Straight Outta Compton, really good movie, and the producers were completely at odds on what film to make. So there's your problem right there, Excuse me. It just kind of ends up being a fun time again. Kamal Najan does a great job as the voice of this little alien guy that tags along with them. And Chris Hemsworth is surprisingly good at film comedy. It is really surprising how good he is. And Tessa Thompson is a real, she's just a good actress. You really believe her. She's good at comedy, and she is just stunning to look at. I'm putting that third, not first. But in the end, it's just fun. It's pointless. You kind of forget everything that happened as soon as you leave the theater. That's sort of thing. I saw, what other ones have I seen? I've seen Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic, which is surprisingly good. I'm not a fan of musicals, but that one was really well done. That might be my most highly acclaimed film, the one I would highly acclaim the most. this year. It's really well done. Taron Egerton is excellent as Elton John, and it's worth a look. It's still in theaters. It's a weird summer. Normally by now movies are that even were hits are completely gone, but you still see Avengers Endgame, still see John Wick 3, you still see Rocket Man in theaters. It's really weird. Like some of those movies have been out for 3 months almost. Avengers has almost been out for 3 months. It's going to be on video at the end of the month. So it's weird. It's weird to see movies kind of hang around. Saw X-Men: Dark Phoenix, which bombed incredibly. And it's the final X-Men from the Fox years. And the studio screwed up their marketing, in my opinion. But the transition from Fox to Disney didn't help, and there's the reshoots probably didn't help. But in the end, it's in my opinion a lot better than the last two Bryan Singer curse his name films. It gets back a little bit to the so with that done, I present to you my unedited, lengthy but fun interview with Adam Simon, writer and co-star of Point Blank. He plays the police officer in the elevator in the beginning of the film with Anthony Mackie. He had to do a little bit of stunt work, so good on him for falling like a pro. Adam is a lot of fun, and hopefully you end up liking him as much as I do based off this conversation. So please enjoy my interview with Adam Simon, writer, actor of Point Blank, out now on Netflix.
How's that sound, Bill?
We're good to go.
Okay, cool.
All right, so this is probably going to be a completely different conversation than we had the other day, because we're probably what's that?
I said probably. Well, and some time has passed, right? Like the movie's out now.
Yeah. So I mean, the movie's out, and there were some things like I kind of wish I had asked you anyway. It's not huge things. I kind of am bummed because I thought the conversation actually was really good. So.
Hey, we'll make it good again, baby.
All right. So, as a reminder, I'm talking to Adam Simon, writer and actor in Point Blank, which is on Netflix right now, streaming to however millions upon millions of as I stutter for no reason, which I'll have to edit out, millions of households. And he's preparing not one, but two, maybe three other projects that he's talked about in the past. So mostly we're going to concentrate on Point Blank today. But we'll get into some other areas that I plan on, and we'll probably get into some other areas that I have no clue what we're going to get into, because that's the way the last conversation went. So how you finally saw it on Thursday? You said you were going to go see it on Thursday. I doubt you didn't like it, but what was your reaction?
I freaking hated it. I started no. It was amazing, and it's exactly it's interesting because when we talked, I was prepping to go see it, and then now that's passed, and I've had a chance to kind of see everything, which I've seen clips and different things like that along the way, but didn't get a chance to really see it in its full glory until Thursday. And there were all kinds of shenanigans that people, I texted Joe Lynch, Joanna Fire, and Carnahan, and I just said, hey man, I'm pulling into Netflix in my brother's Hellcat, and I'm waving a Point Blank flag while we're blasting Ride at the Balconies over the speakers. And Joanna takes me back to the shot, and then Lynch was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, I have to film it. So he ran out. But it was funny. You could see it online. He was just like, you hold it the wrong way, you idiot. So my brother slipped into a lower gear on accident. I think he was just nervous or something. But he said he slipped into a lower gear and about catapulted me out of the top of the sunroof. People thought I was gonna die. There's a really funny video. The Netflix guys loved it. It is when we were going towards the entrance, you could hear all the marketing department, like all the marketing people from Netflix going, "Fuck out! You can't look right! You can't look right!" I was like, "What?" And then I felt the thing kind of touch the back of my head, and I took down. I was still reeling from having, my L1 vertebrae like completely snapped in half from the torque of the helicopter. So yeah, it was fun though, man.
Yeah, it was a cool video. Yeah, it
was a lot of fun, man. We and seeing it for the first time, I'm like, yeah. Like that's what it is. Like it really is. It's a great story in its own right, but it's really a throwback to those movies of the 70s and 80s, early part of the 90s.
Yeah.
Those action films that didn't take themselves too seriously, still dealt with things like life and death and love and danger in a very realistic way, a very great way. But at the same time, I feel like nowadays everybody's pigeonholed into a certain tone. Everybody's read Save the Cat. Everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's a fucking critic.
Yeah.
And then everybody's going, I don't know. Like the music didn't seem to really fit the tone of the piece. And I'm just like, sticking up two middle fingers, and I'm just going, yeah, tone smooth, asshole. Like I care that it's entertaining. Like it's just so funny, man. Like we're in a time now where everybody's a critic. Everybody's got a YouTube channel. Watch my reactions, your trailer, and whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the time we live in, but everybody's trying to pigeonhole you into a certain tone. Like if you're action, you have to take yourself so freaking seriously.
Right.
Like it's a dramatic action film. Or, you're like Central Intelligence. It's action, but you're just total comedy.
Right.
It's like, Lethal Weapon, what was so great about that film is you had dead serious, action taking place. Martin Riggs' girlfriend is murdered. She's thrown into the bay, with concrete shoes and a straitjacket.
Yeah.
And, and it goes from that to, Joe Pesci going, okay. And that's out, and so it's just that. And even the music choice, and there's a message in the music choice, like, Carnahan kind of orchestrates music. And, nothing that he does is arbitrary. Nothing that he does is fun and dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that, even what is taking place in the final sequences with, we're listening to The Monk of Love. I won't spoil it.
Right.
The soundtrack that was chosen, with very specific purpose. So, it's funny, man. Like, online, the people that get it really get it.
Right.
Like, there's a guy who did a YouTube video, he's like, this is like a $10 burger, and I love myself a tasty burger. And then there's other people that are like, two beloved MCU hosts, but squandered on an incoherent film. And it's just like, grow up.
Yeah.
Like, do something. Stand in the middle of the street with a gun and take something. Do something. Like, what are they going to write on your tombstone? I critiqued over 700 films from Mashable. Oh, good for you. Like, Carnahan said something that was really, I did not trash it, because I do think there's you want people to debate your stuff, right? Like, you want people to talk about your stuff, but, you know, he said something really funny to me. He said, what is the best critic without the worst film?
Right.
Right? Like, they don't exist.
Right.
Like, they don't exist without us doing anything. Like, without what we're creating, they don't exist. Well, it's not Scott Derrickson, who I love, by the way. Like, I love Scott Derrickson. I love his writing. I just love the kind of person he is. He's got a big circle of people around him. Cargill and Lynch and stuff like that. But some tweet out one day said, the role of the critic is necessary, enabling us to be able to discern with what films we want to spend our time. And I'm like, who? Like, I've never in my life, and I've seen thousands of films, I've never once gone like, what are the critics saying?
Right.
Because there's something wrong about the shit I like. Man on Fire. They were wrong about Man on Fire. Apocalypse Now. Wrong about Apocalypse Now. They were wrong about Fight Club. When Fight Club first came out, critics weren't fawning all over it. Like all the movies that I love, Memento, like, the majority of critics were like, it's an incoherent mess.
Mm.
Not comparing point blank to those.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like, yeah, I don't need a defining rod. I don't need a pope to tell me how to worship. I don't need a critic to tell me, what movies to watch. I think the function of the critic is more for, like, debate. So people can talk about it, talk about meaning, understand, what something meant. And, I didn't like that chocolate. Like, art's freaking subjective, man.
Right.
But they try to wrap it up in this objectivity that is negated by the very nature of the thing which they critique. So, but, yeah.
Well, to be honest, the great times of, and honestly, the great times of filmmaking and film criticism might be, and this is somebody that's, kind of grew up in the 70s and the 80s and even in the 90s, there's still good filmmaking now, but it's so, as we discussed before, it's this process thing. And now, in turn, everybody's a critic, and everybody has a platform, everybody has a social media account, everybody has, the ability to video themselves. When I started paying real close attention to film, the person, and Carnahan and I had a discussion about this, I think the first time we met, the first person that I paid attention to as far as film critics, and I've never really paid tremendous attention to anyone else since, was Ebert. Because Ebert liked low and high. He didn't like everything.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And what I loved about that show was the opposing viewpoint.
Yeah.
Like, guys with a little bit of a different background, a little bit of likes and dislikes, and kind of the argument. And you would hear somebody present, like, a certain argument, not just about, I like the flavor of something, but I like the cinematography here, I like the editing here,
right.
I thought the writing was really keen over here, this actor did a really good job, of special effects, and they would kind of dissect it and go back and forth, and you ended up going, I agree with this guy, but then somewhere in the conversation you might switch sides because of the debate. Now there's no debate. You have people espousing their fucking opinion. Like right. Saying, well, I've watched a lot of movies, so I got an opinion, and my opinion's important. And where that gets fucked up is they're messing with my livelihood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're messing with my livelihood, and that's fine if there's an understanding of the process.
Right.
Like, here's a great case in point, Man Down. When that film came out, there was a critic in Toronto. I had two different experiences. You and I talked about this. There was a critic in Toronto. He wrote for, I want to say, no, because that guy was great. He wrote for the Toronto Sun. And he didn't even like the film, but we had a great conversation. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy, he was from, I can't remember what publication he wrote for in Toronto anyway, but he came out and said, this is one of those cockamamie scripts that gets greenlit in Hollywood without anybody reading it. And it's just like, dude, do you have any idea what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, the script wasn't available online anywhere.
Right.
So I contacted this guy and I said, hey, your whole article was about my script. So I'm just curious how you guys are hands on it. And he goes, well, I did it. First of all, I'm shocked that you're calling me. Second of all, I didn't read the script. And I said, well then, but your whole piece is faulty in your script. And you didn't read it. Well, I don't need to read it because I saw the movie. I said, yeah, but I'm whole. So much was changed from script to screen. Mm-hmm. And there were multiple scenes that were taken out. So what your real beef, from what I'm hearing, was in the pacing and was also in the look, which is special effects and editing. That's not script.
Right.
You know, and so I feel like there's a lack of understanding and just a bunch of people going like, well, I watched it, didn't really do it for me. And it's like, well, bro, what did you have for lunch? Did you get enough sleep last night? Did you have an argument with your girlfriend before you did it? But you're going to shit on my film, like, just on a feeling? Like, put effort into it. Do some research.
Yeah.
Like, find out, who the cinematographers are, who the editor was, who the DP, find out who directed, find out, all that stuff. And then you can speak with intelligence and authority on the thing. Now, you still may hate whatever shit I cook up, but at least you can speak intelligently about it, not to sound like a fucking idiot. But I heard this guy the other day, and because I watched him, good, bad reviews, good reviews, bad reviews. I watched one reviewer, he didn't particularly care for the film, and he had some good points, but that we knew what he was talking about. But this one guy goes, I thought it was really smart that Fred Cavalier and Guillaume both helped co-write the script, because it made it consistent with the spirit of their characters, with the characters that were created for this version of Point Blank. And I'm like, I've never met these guys. I've never talked to these guys.
Yeah.
This script came out of my head, period. With, a lovely polish by, Carnahan and influence from producers and actors and all that shit.
Right.
But they didn't work on the characters. And so when you look at it, and it's like based on characters from the original for sure. Right. I didn't see a Cheetah. I didn't see a Big D. I didn't see William Friedkin references. I didn't see, what I mean? It's like, dude, these are wholly original characters. I could have taken that script and called it, Fun Time at the Zoo, and nobody would have pieced together that it was ripped off of Point Blank. So,
right.
It's just interesting. I wish more people would just, put a little effort into understanding the thing of which they critique. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do, and here's if you're looking for real here, and I've got something else to say. I got another question that you brought up about writing it, but for me, so I started watching I watched it Friday practically as soon as I got up. I watched something else that was completely frivolous. Watched the newest episode of Big Brother, and then I watched because I wanted to I kind of wanted to wake up and clear the cobwebs with something meaningless first before I got into it. But then I started watching Point Blank, and at the same time I'm sitting there pausing it, and I'm dealing with personal stuff, calling people because of the situation I described earlier, and so I'm pausing it. So I'm removing myself out of the situation of watching the movie, and by the time I got done with it, I liked it, but I was like, okay, something. And this is where you talk about, well, did the guy have a fight with his girlfriend? What did he eat for lunch? Did he get enough sleep? So, there was something, I did like it, but there was something about it, I don't feel I had the experience I needed to have with it. So I was like, I wanted to make sure I gave it a couple of days and then watch it again. So I watched it again today, all the way through. It's just like one pause, because my sister came home and I was talking to her real quick. And it's the experience was so much better. Even though I knew everything that was going to happen, it flowed a lot better because I wasn't stopping myself like every 15 minutes,
For sure.
from watching it. So I totally get that. I've had that experience. Like there have been some films which I will passionately state I hate. And I hated them on first reaction, but I've seen, if I've gone and tried to watch them again later, I'll give them another chance because it's like, okay, maybe it was me. Because everybody else, like, there are movies like, I could just list off about probably 5 off the top of my head that everybody loves, that were big hits in one way or another, either Oscar nominated or actual huge box office hits. Stuff like Django Unchained, Wolf of Wall Street, Birdman with Michael Keaton. I mean, these are films that were embraced by a whole lot of people in one way or another that I had a visceral reaction to, negatively, which I also view as a positive in some weird way, because at least I wasn't like, like I'd rather hate something passionately than not give a shit what I watched at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I feel the same way as a creator. Like, I think the praise that I've gotten from some people about Man Down, I treat with equal weight and suspicion as the Death Threat I received.
Really?
Listen, man, people don't want to hear about the feelings of the behaviors. They want to hear that we're going to war over corporate interests, that we're in a perpetual state of war, and that we discard our veterans, and we don't take care of them the way that they should be taken care of. I'm speaking categorically. Obviously, there are individual cases where that is not the case. Nobody wants to hear that, and they got really passionate response. And we can see that military men and women reaching out to me and going, "Thank you, man, like you saw us, and you understood it, and we appreciate it." And then other people going, "I have to see you and put the bullet in it." Like, straight up. Like, I have to contact law enforcement. I'm one of them. I mean, I'm a big boy out here in my own business. Like, you want to come for the silence, have the lunch, and bring some fucking flame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a couple of those that I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's good." Like, having worked in security, I'm like, "Oh, this guy means business. So let me hand that over." But I look at it and I go, "Well, good. You hated it? Good." It still doesn't negate the fact that we've got as many homeless veterans as we do. It still doesn't negate the fact that we've got a problem with them committing suicide. It still doesn't negate the fact that there's, they call it getting Jody. Guys within a certain unit or on a base or whatever, the amount of fidelity that happens. I'm speaking of a particular branch of the military. The Army actually nipped it in the bud and had a task force assigned to deal with that issue. So it's like, those are facts. Like, that's happened. So you're angry about it? You don't like the way I presented it? Cool. Don't do something about it. Don't do something about it. So, yeah. But this, this was a little bit different, and it was a lot of fun. And those kind of things that were in the script that didn't make up the tree. I enjoyed it. I liked how it went. It was freaking fun. I mean, it started off on Black Flag, and the right way to simply do that point.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and to divert a bit, because you were bringing up Man Down, you're right. If people are angry about a film, well, let's be angry at a system that has the defense budget be as big as it is, yet they spend nary anything, and in fact underspend on, these people when they get back from war. It's like. And then these same people that will throw all their money at corporate interests that fund the war, or make the tools to fight the war or whatever. They get angry at the other side by saying, "Well, you're protesting war, you're protesting troops." No, no, you guys aren't taking care of the troops. You just twisted it and turned it around. And, and speaking about Mandon, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, again, I don't know if I mentioned this to you in the past, maybe in a message, but I was like, the first half, I was like, wasn't really sure if I was with the film. I was like, I was kind of like, I don't really understand where this is going. I'm not sure if I like the visual style. I'm not really, getting sucked into the emotion of things. And then that second half just walloped me. It surprised me because I was like, I rarely have, this doesn't happen very often. I rarely see a film that ends up getting better in the second half. And I think that, thanks to you, I finally figured out how to spell Montiel, or say Montiel's first name. I always thought it was Dito, and I don't realize it's Ditto.
Yeah.
But it sounded more Italian that way somehow, and I don't even know if he's Italian. But I see what he was trying to, that he kind of, he was working it. It's just that I wasn't sure of where it was going, and sometimes you do have to kind of hang in with a film.
And it's not funny because you know the process. You're familiar with the process. Isn't it funny that it's like, and I see this happening, time and time again with all kinds of films. Not to make this whole thing about critics, but I do see critics zeroing in on the director, the screenwriter, that's it. That's all the fucking talking about. That's it. Like as if, again, not to believe it explained, but like on Man Down, they look at the quote. Like we were just sitting around with millions of dollars, and I was just writing the script, and we were completely free, so we fucked it up. So it's like our research, and it's like, dude, budget constraints, time constraints, shooting schedules, 15 different producers that are on that show.
Right.
You want to give the responsibility squarely on 3 people? It takes an army to make a movie. Like it takes, it takes a lot of work to make a shit film.
Yeah.
Let alone a good film. Like I thought these guys, Ritter guys over at Atlas Entertainment, guys did Triple Frontier and Suicide Squad and Fury and Wonder Woman and find a really great group of people up there. And we're sitting with them and they're like, every film is a miracle. Even the quote unquote bad one.
Right.
It is a miracle that you're able to get a film done. And people don't understand that. They think it's just a bunch of wealthy people sitting around, but it's not. It's a bunch of struggling, starving artists that are going into bed with criminals that are trying to launder money. So you take advantage of that business transaction. You can do your art.
Right.
And that's, until you're in the studio system, that's kind of the lay of the land.
Right.
Like it's kill or be killed. So, and I like being in that territory rather than somebody going, this is how you're going to make a film. You do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Did you cut a boxer? Oh, okay, cool. That means you made a successful film.
Right.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, art should piss you off. Like, movies should shit you up. Entertain you, make you cry, make you laugh, make you angry. But we've gone away from that to like, man, let's create that escapism. Because Point Blank's got a healthy dose of escapism. It's definitely there. But, we kind of flipped shit on its head. And it was, as badass as Frank Grillo was, everybody who watched the trailer was seeing kind of this thing pop up online when people are like, oh, it's another white savior movie. It's like, wrong.
Yeah.
Like, Frank Grillo considered anybody at the end of that movie. Anthony Mackie and his wife, well, not spoiling anything, but,
right.
It goes down. So, at first glance, people, make assumptions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was a guy I was talking to in like this forum, and he's like, "Way to go, making a trailer that gives everything away in the movie." How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
It's how do you know everything's given away? And then he went and saw the movie and was like, "Wow, I was surprised. I thought everything was revealed in the trailer." It's like, no, it's enough, asshole.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly are circumstances where the trailer is giving away too much. I think probably the worst
example of that.
Worst example of that this year. It was just this year with Dark Phoenix.
They showed the whole movie.
Well, they showed they just kill Mystique, and it's like, why would you do that? Like, you know, it gave you the impression like that Jennifer Lawrence just wanted to show up for 5 minutes, and she's in like the first hour of the film. I mean, you really fucked it up by giving that away. It's like,
well, I think I know why they did that. I think the reason they did that is because of that setup of all the Marvel films and all these superhero stand-up movies. We can get some fans to come to the movies and know Mystique's gonna die.
Right.
You know, if we make it look like, you know, Tony Stark is gonna die in the theater, we'll get all the fans to come out.
Yeah.
This fucking thing.
Well, that's you know, you're talking about the two actually the flip sides of each other. I mean, what they did they didn't give with Endgame. Marvel is kind of geniuses with marketing. That's why what turned out with Dark Phoenix is that Marvel didn't really have their hands on any of it. Even Disney in the end didn't have a whole lot of time, just to get a whole because you got to really get in there right at the beginning to kick off the marketing. So they were kind of stuck with the marketing that had already been set up for it. And I mean, that thing was just, it ended up being a decent film. It was better than the last two Bryan Singer ones. That's for sure. But, anyways, I digress. We're not talking about Dark Phoenix. So let me ask you, this is something you brought up earlier. Point Blank is a remake of a French film from about, 9-10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you said that, I mean, your point was that you could almost call that anything else. What in the end made it stick that you basically had to call it a remake in a way, or whatever, you had to give credit to the original film? I mean, what's the reason behind it? Because basically, if the movie ended up diverging so much, why? Because the intention was already there, and you kind of had to stick with the intention for people to see.
That's all wrapped up in contracts and rights and credits and those kinds of things. Like originally, War Party was with DeMont, and they were talking about, hey, we've got rights to this movie about putting on, and there's already been, a Korean version, and they're both very, very serious, right?
Right.
If you watch both of those films, they're very serious, high energy, high paced thrillers, and or action films. They're not really thrillers, but with a very kind of basic, simple premise. And I thought, that was the thing for me. I thought the French film did it very well. The Korean version was, I just felt like, man, there's an opportunity to make this into something that is kind of quintessentially American, and LA at the time when I started writing it. And plus, it was about a guy's fear of becoming a father, and by the end of the movie, because of his journey, becomes the father that he wants to be.
Right?
And there were a couple scenes and a couple things that were taken out that were in the script that would have appeared at the beginning of the film that would have hammered that home.
Right.
That ended up coming out in Anthony Mackie's performance.
Right.
But you get this, he's kind of the guy of okay, if I do this, and this, everything's going to go according to plan. Life is okay, check in, and things are going to happen. But the birth, bringing a child into the world, is absolute chaos. There's nothing organized about it. It's bananas. So, Frank really hammers that home when he says, everybody's always saying that they'll do anything for the family. This is as fucking as anything as it gets.
Right.
Pick up a gun. You got your wife. Pick up a gun. And he's like, what? You go gun him for class?
Yeah.
And then he's like, they got your wife, man. So there's this conversation about how far would you really go for your family, but it's wrapped up in this really cool action. So that's
right.
I think it was
right. And at that point too, at that point, like all the Frank's character Abe is just like, there's not any other way out of this. You got to like go all in, or you may go to jail, but your baby and your wife are safe. What I'm getting at? It's like that's the point. It's like there was no other way to get back at these people at that point. So.
Yeah, and that really is it, man. Like I've found, my time with my kids is not just quality, and there are a lot of people who disagree with me. Quality is a factor, but it is quantity.
Yeah,
it is. It just is, man. And if you're putting a bunch of other shit in front of your kids, they're gonna remember that.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember that. Maybe you got a good excuse for that. My dad was a great dad. But he worked his ass off because he had to. He had 6 kids. He was a cop. So, and cops don't make a lot of money. So, there was that. He had 6, mouths to feed, and my mom would cut hair, just kind of locally with people to make a few extra bucks here and there. But 9 times out of 10, we're just eating bread and cheese.
Right.
That's just it. But so that's the kind of the message there in the movie, is that fatherhood really takes your full, complete, undivided attention and dedication.
Right.
And that's the fear. Like that's for me, that's am I going to fuck up as a dad?
Yeah.
It's kind of that thing. We've been through this. We can get through anything. Also, the difference from the Korean film with this one is that I wrote it in a way that should it do well, and should that's what's wanted. There's a prequel and a sequel.
Okay.
So that also makes it different.
Okay.
So people get, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you get to the end of this movie and you want to go like, okay, wait a minute, how did we get to this point?
Right.
What happened to us with Joshua Gregory? What was the conspiracy? Who was really the puppet master at the top?
Right.
And then what happened, this Nick character? Like, who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? Like, what's going on with him? And then at the end, that's all the pre. And then you look at afterwards, Frank Driver grabbing another other one, spoil it, but
right.
It's all set up for, a prequel and a sequel. So they want to go. I made that known to everybody at the premiere. I was just like, look, man, you guys want to roll? I'm ready. Yeah. And then they go, no, we want a different guy. But it's done. It's been teed up for that, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, that was, you brought up Big D, and that was the thing, like, when I first watched it, the thing that struck me, like, the messages that Mateo, Christian Cook, were getting, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. The first one I didn't really catch. The second one, I'm like, okay, that's Midnight Run, and then I didn't even think about it until I saw it, the second time, but I realized that everything he was texting the Mateo was in quotes. And then it's like, of course they're in quotes, because this guy's a complete film nerd.
He's a walking IMDb. That's when that comes out. When he's like, I see fucking dead people. That's like everything that's coming out of his mouth. Yeah. And he just loves it. And dude, by the way, like based off somebody, like I know enough gangsters, and every single one of them that I know has always been like, no, homie, I got this great idea for this film. This is how I do it. And if I was shooting it, I'd shoot that shit like this. And I'm just like, nigga. And then they'll throw things out. No new shit. William Friedkin. And then it's like, okay, still mad. You know, and I've seen some critics say, well, that's an idea out of film school. It's like, no, I know motherfuckers like that. I know people like that. You know, I know guys who put bullets into other people who know IMDb better than I do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it just is.
Yeah.
Like, it's freaking hilarious. I love it.
Well, it's funny. It was funny that the guy was so obsessed with Friedkin because I had just watched the De Palma documentary recently where he talks about. I wish
I remember. I think I saw it. How great is that?
That's a great doc. It's probably one of my favorite documentaries ever because it's just him. Good. It's just him talking about everything. But he was talking about.
Sweden turned me on to that documentary.
Who did?
Sweden, like Gary Sweden. He pulled me aside and he's like, I was watching, you know, do you remember the De Palma documentary? I was like, I haven't seen it. He's like, okay, you and I cannot have a conversation with each other until you go see this documentary. So I went and watched it, and then we had a good conversation about it. Sweden and I are working on a separate project together right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, the thing that was hilarious about that is because he was talking about doing some sort of car chase scene, and I forget which film of his he was talking about doing it in, but he said it was early on in his career, and he was like, well, you know, you're never going to do a better car chase scene than The French Connection. So it's like I was completely bored by the idea of a car chase scene. And it's just hilarious that the dude. I just thought this was like because to hear about William Friedkin twice in a week, nowadays is really weird. And I'm a huge fan of his. Some of the good, you know, some of the you know stuff he did was obviously like De Palma at some point, you know, like done just for the money. But there, you know, the stuff that he really invested. I finally saw. I had never seen The Exorcist until last year, and yeah, I'm not a huge horror fan, so even with The Exorcist, I've started after like 40-something years of being told how great The Exorcist is. There's no way it's gonna hold up, and I finally like just it holds up. It's weird because it was like it wasn't as scary because I mean there's no way to I've seen a bunch of other horror films since then, so they kind of cribbed a lot of stuff from it, but the tension, that he provokes in that film is amazing, and just the camera work and just the detail. That's what makes that film special. That's why I hate most horror films because it's just all, just. It's all the same. It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Yeah, it's just right away. Just people getting killed. House model. Right. And that's what I mean, man. Like everybody's doing the this is how this guy did it. So we're all gonna do it this way. Like, right. Guardians of the Galaxy had this cool 70s soundtrack and Woody Banter. So everybody's doing the 70s soundtrack and Woody Banter and the cute, animal. Right. So, and instead of, really having individual voices and individual storytellers, the great thing about The Exorcist is, and by the way, that's what's great about Point Blank. It's like, there's this really unique vision and way that Lynch and Juan Mee, teamed up and shot this thing that is really unique. It's a car chase, but it's a car chase with a PT Cruiser. Right. And a yellow PT Cruiser with wood walls. But I was going to say the thing about The Exorcist for me isn't so much the demon possession and the horror film aspect of it that takes place towards the end, which is magnificent, wonderful, and great. For me, the first half of the film is so critical and so essential because he just freaking goes for it, and it's this desperate mother who is absolutely just dying to get to the bottom of what is wrong with her daughter, and she will spare no expense. Like that scene in the hospital and they do the needle and the blood goes like like that. Yeah. That whole sequence of just like I'm gonna dig even if it's hurting my daughter. I got to get to the bottom of this. Right. And spare no expense to find out. And that's what helps
But that freaking hooks you. People get lost in the spinning heads of Bonham. And to me, it's like, man, it's a human element. It's a human aspect of that. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to something you said, like, I don't know if you were exaggerating by 15 producers on Man Down, but that I think a lot of people don't
that's
realize.
not an exaggeration, bro. Go look it up. There's 15 producers on. And the problem with that is, you have, I would say, in my own opinion and estimation, you got type, right? You got Steve McAvee, who produced Braveheart, and We Were Soldiers, and formerly with Icon, and these incredible films. Hunt for Red October. You got John Burton, who did the Lego movie. You got, these people, that are seasoned with experience. You got Douglas Urbanski, Gary Oldman's manager, who also came on as a producer, and these are guys that are really astute and smart. Then you got a bunch, not a bunch, but you got, some people in there just write a check.
Right.
Or some people who are like, I got funding from these guys in Brazil, and then when it comes to the shooting date, you go, oh, they passed out. Can I still get producer credit? And then you find out that they worked it out in their contract, even though they're not putting money in, they still have the same final edit.
Oh, God.
Like, that's all issues with contracts and negotiations, right?
Yeah.
So, lesson learned. Right? Each film presents an opportunity for a learning experience and for growth.
Right.
And as long as I continue to learn and get better, I'll keep making films. The second that I just start bowling all over the place, like, count me out. I'll fuck it down. Or if I just think my shit doesn't stink anymore, like, that's a problem too. That's a problem with actors, it's a problem with writers, it's a problem with directors, producers, guys who just think they're the center of the fucking universe. It's like, bro, you're not. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
It takes a community to make a film.
Right.
So, instead of walking in and just thinking, it's your fucking show, in whatever capacity that is.
Right.
Some Academy Award winning editor who's high on his own supply or whatever the fuck. Maintain some humility. Especially if you're coming down on an Adam Simon project, because if you don't, I'll be the first guy to crack you over the head with the track for it.
Yeah, this is like something we discussed the first time, and the thing I think, and this is a thing about ego and glorified vision of oneself, but if somebody's coming onto a project and they've got some pull, then if they're fighting for something that's positive, that's one thing. But if they're fighting just to stroke themselves, that's its own separate problem, and that becomes like a pain in the ass. That's another obstacle in a situation that has so many obstacles.
Yeah. I mean, if you close yourself off and if you're precious and you let ego get in the way, then you don't have a great moment like Frank and Mackie in the car where Frank's just going, stop crying, stop crying, stop crying. You treat them like a baby. You get this absolutely amazing moment that's very human and very real. Or when Frank just goes, instead of delivering a line that was in the script, he just looks at Mackie and turns around and then he goes, stay in the fucking car. Like that thing. And you get these great little moments. Or you have a producer. Joanna was really good at this. Joanna was really good at finding little moments to ramp up. Or, you don't get moments like Joe going, there's Claudia saying like, I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way to say this, bro. Like, I think there was a note I got from Joe, and I remember the sequence exactly. I had written it, when Frank gets out of the car, right after the hospital. He says, Mackie goes, do you know that guy? And Frank goes, no. And he goes, well, he gave you his clothes. Joe sent me a note back and he goes, bro, do it like this. Do you know that guy? No. He gave you his clothes. Yeah. So I gave him your car. and Joe wrote off the side, say it out loud, bro, it's funnier. And I did. I said it out loud, and I go, that's fucking funny, dude. Like, it's just a bing. And it's so much funnier. Like,
and it moves things along faster, too.
Yeah. But if I'm precious about something, then, you know, then that moment doesn't happen. Then you don't get it. I'll tell you another one, car wash.
Okay.
You know, I'm sitting with Liz, and he's going, dude, the fight scene right here is good. It's well written. But I feel like we need different set pieces, like something. Like, because originally it was at a gas station. He's like, that gas station? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, well, let's talk about the geography. Gas pumps, right? Like, there could be some cool there. We got some fire, we got some gas. Inside, the convenience store. I was like, outside, the car wash. And Rich was like, bingo, car wash.
Yeah.
And I go, I feel like there's been a fight in your car wash. And it was not in the wash. Like, while it's going, I go, sure. And then we started Googling and researching, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, let's do it. And so, as I'm sitting there going, I drove this convenience store because it needed to be done this way. Like, that shit's never going to happen. It's collaborative. So the script is collaborative. If you're on set and you got, hundreds of people all working in the spirit of collaboration, all trying to make people look good and put the lights in the right places, the cameras in the right places, and all that shit, then that's all going to be collaboration. I can't deal with the motherfuckers who think they're the center of the universe.
Right.
It's like, move on. I ain't got no time for that. I don't give a fuck who you are. Because at some point in the day, you're sitting on a toilet and pinching off a lump. You're a human being. Like, you are a human being. You wake up with morning breath, son. Like, you're that's it. We're just ordinary people doing things in an extraordinary way sometimes.
Yeah.
Some of us are just skating by, barely.
Yeah.
So, it's what Patton Oswalt, rest in peace, his wife at the time said before passing, that be kind, it's all chaos.
Yeah.
Be kind, it's all chaos. And I'm a firm believer in that. I tell you, man, I've been studying this shit ever since I was a kid, and then very astutely the past 10 years, from being on set with James Cameron, being on set with Michael Bay, being on set with Martin Scorsese, being on set with Joe Carnahan, being on set with John Lynch, being on set with Joe Montino, and now I'm ready. I'm ready. I've been studying these guys, and when I jump onto a set, I know exactly the kind of environment that it needs to be. Like, the crew needs to be like a special forces team. Streamlined, no fat, and everybody, operating in a spirit of collaboration and no fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Directing's coming.
Yeah.
So, it'll be great.
Yeah, so that was one thing we touched on the first time. So the next, what's your next thing up? What's for sure the next thing you got locked and loaded that's going to be made?
Rare Breed could be titled Whirlwind. Titled, TBA. It's TBD. It's a project that Noah Dandy is a phenomenal actor, dude, and they don't make people like him, man. Like, when I say that guy would take a bullet for me and I him, that carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of people who run around this town and say they're my friends.
Yeah.
But they're talking out both sides of their mouth. And I know they're talking out both sides of their mouth. But Noah Dancy is a guy who, even in private conversation, has got my back 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been developing something for about 5 years, and gradually working it. We went in, pitched the Mojo Film, Jay Fleas going to be coming through when we were pitching. And he goes, you know what, guys, I'm going to do you mind if I sit in on this just for a couple minutes? I got another meeting I got to get to. And we were like, sure, we'd be honored. Like, it's fantastic. So we sat down, he heard the pitch, and 3 hours later, we were going over the final points and the details of it. So he jumped on board, helped us carve it and shape it where it needs to be in the series. And we're now working with Joanna Baia, who is money, and moving it along and getting it where it needs to be. So we're really, really close. I'm so excited about it, dude. It's so great.
So this is something you and Noah wrote together.
Yeah, and it's ready, it's needed. I feel like it's timely. Everybody's been sniffing around like scared to do this, and nobody's cracked the code. Nobody.
Okay.
And I feel like we've been able to put something together that people are just gonna go, what the fuck? Just like Man Down, like after Man Down, people are like, psychological thriller, let's talk to Adam. Military, let's talk to Adam.
Right.
And then I make Point Blank, which is like this action comedy. And when people hear that I'm doing this, Noah Gay and Joanna, they're going to be like, what the fuck, the Man Down Point Blank guy, like, what's he doing? I don't like being boxed in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think Conan's done that well. He makes a movie like The Clash.
Yeah.
And then turns around and makes a movie like Shrek.
Mm. And
they really are kind of totally on opposite ends of the spectrum. And as opposed to this is the horror guy. This is the military action guy. This
right.
is the robots guy. I just don't want to be that. I want to be free to be able to do a rom-com or a horror film or, whatever story that I need to tell to work out some demons and get some shit off my chest.
Right. Because that's the key. I mean, it's one thing if like somebody goes, okay, he did this, let's have him do a polish on something. But as far as having your name out there, I totally get why you'd want to have go out and do different things.
Yeah. I'm polishing 2 projects. I got one that's called Kick It Punch Kill, which is a lot of fun in the vein of like Smoke and Acres. And then I got another one that I'm working on with Sonic Studios. I can't say what it is, but I'm working on with them, and it is really cool. It is like bang up action, but also very much like psychological thriller, really cool that I'm excited about. And it's a good crew over there, so.
Well, let me ask you about that, seeing as how we kind of steered into it. I think do you? And I'm not asking for specifics, but do you find that you end up making more off of the polishes than you do your full-on scripts?
That's the quantity versus quality, my man. I'm constantly writing, and I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. I have to. I got 2 kids.
Yeah.
It was let's see, 9, 8, 7, 5, 6 years ago I was homeless, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still crawling out of that.
Yeah.
And so people look at that and go, well, look at the past, the Man Down, and look at the past, the Point Blank, or just be blowing on mouths to the money. It's like, I'm not. And if I wanted to be, that's something entirely different.
Right.
But I value my freedom. I value who I work with. Like, the ink on my body should let people know enough that when I'm in on a team, I'm all in on a team.
Right.
But that comes at a price. And I don't give a shit about that. Money is like money. Like, great. Like, I don't, whatever. Like, the suits, cars, everything that everybody in this town values because they weren't hungry enough as kids. That they, when when I get, I always, I took this to a group of actors one time that were all talking about that, and they all had these dreams, and there's nothing wrong with that, of like fame and money. There's a line in Search where Patrick Wilson's character says, money, power, pussy, and in this town that comes in exactly that order,
Yeah.
But that's kind of the general thought process of people in this town. And I said to this group of actors, I said, okay, so let's just, push and board this thing all the way to the end, baby. You get your Oscar. Then what? You get the car you always wanted. Then what? You get the house that you always wanted. Then what? You get the woman that you always wanted. Then what? You're having, whatever kind of sex that whatever kind of you sexually fulfill. Then what? Like, then fucking what? Like, there is no made it. There is no arrive. There is no Everest. I give a fuck if you got the number one movie in America. If that's the number one movie in America, I've made it. Then what? Then what? Like, and I asked them that, and they were like, well, I think I would be happy. Yeah, but you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that you leave behind are the relationships that you have with people. So, in your pursuit of the ultimate high, the ultimate girlfriend, the ultimate boyfriend, the ultimate partner, the ultimate car, the ultimate house, the ultimate award, the ultimate accolade, if you are stepping on people and fucking people over, well, your life is a moot point. Because in this day and age, everybody gets found out.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, you will get found out. If you are a shitty person, you will get found out. And as we've seen, you can make the greatest movies in the world, man. And again, I'm just speaking in the entertainment industry because that's what we're referring to. But this applies to politics, business, it applies across the board. If you're a shitty person, you're going to get found out. And no matter what you've accomplished in the material sense of things, it's going to be nothing. It's going to go up in flames. Because people are going to go, yeah, this guy made some great films, but he's a pedophile.
Right.
This guy made some great movies, but he's great. This guy, was an incredible businessman and a wonderful artist, but treated people like shit. And, it's just like, I like people who are able to, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. I like motherfuckers that are able to be absolutely gangster in the execution of their business while treating people with respect and kindness. Those are the kinds of people that I want to emulate. The Keanu Reeves of the world. Like,
right.
He's a sweetheart of a man. Like,
yeah.
He's an absolute gem of a human being that made no mistake, gangster when it comes to his business dealings.
Sure.
And, there's a lot of people like that who I really admire. And we all have our inhibitions, we all have our bites, but treating people like shit, you have a world of comeuppance coming your way.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be no monetary, physical achievement, materialistic achievement is going to take the place of you being a shitty friend, father, husband, neighbor, member of society.
Yeah.
Like, get that shit right. Everybody wants to be the tortured artist or, writhing on the ground and cutting themselves and, wow, isn't that cool? I'm such a tortured artist. Not just actors, but like, directors, producers, the whole fucking thing. It's like, be a good human, asshole.
Yeah.
That's Adam's words of wisdom. I'm pontificated enough myself like an asshole now.
No, that's the key. I mean, and you're supposed to learn that early on, but some people don't.
Yeah.
So the thing with Noah Danby is that's the thing we were talking about the other day. Did you say that that's the first project you're planning on directing?
So we're going to be making sure that the pilot episode in the first season is all.
Oh, so this is a show.
Yeah, this is the series. And then yeah, I would love to put out some episodes. I've gotten some really good guidance from Ray and so in that regard too. Obviously directed episodes of The Blacklist. Ray has done Arrow and El Chicano and a lot of television.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a lot of guidance from him, which is fantastic. But then also Miguel, and that's going through a rewrite right now. I've got some really lovely people and putting together a really good team, which includes, Brandon Kosh, Jonathan Shack, some really good people to come on board with that. And then writing a script with Christian Cook.
Okay.
We really kind of gravitated to each other, especially with Christian before. Has his own production company. It's not just a phenomenal actor, but really incredible writer. And we started teaching something out when we were with each other. So I'm going to head up next month to Quebec for a couple weeks. He's up there shooting something right now with Tony Harding. So we're going to get down and we're just getting this thing out and get it where it needs to be. Yeah.
Cool.
Working on a ton of shit, man.
Yeah. So Raquel would be your plan for your first actual directed feature film, correct?
Yeah, so that, and obviously, like, the way it's gonna pop anytime. I'm just waiting for the final work from Joe and Frank on that. But Miguel or this other project that Noah has written the script for that he really wants me to direct. It's going to come down to which one is performance first.
Right.
I've got two projects that are in and hard frame. So let's see which one.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So the series though is probably the closest to moving ahead, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Really, really close on that. And I couldn't be happier.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I can't wait to actually find out, for sure, what's going on with it, where it's going to be, blah, blah, all that stuff. But obviously you can't say anything. All right, cool. All right, I appreciate that. So let's talk about the raid.
Yeah.
So, just like, I know that you guys are locked in at the moment with a script you like, that you and Carnahan worked on back and forth. Where is the raid right now?
So right now, we sealed this deal with Starlight Entertainment out of China, and that's, is War Party's dealing as well as Starlight is that the raid is at the top of the pile. So now it's just down to, all right, what area is going to get the best passing center? Where are we going to take this production? Is it Calgary? Is it the Dominican Republic? Is it Puerto Rico? Where's the right home for this thing? The film takes place in Caracas. But the majority of the film obviously takes place in Sirius.
Yeah.
But still trying to lock that down. There's a lot that's happening and changing in the film finance landscape. So I think, and again, I'm not producing the film, but my conversations with Carnahan and with Grillo have been they're feeling out where the best place is going to end up being to house the film is set up shop and go to work. We're getting really, really close. I'm saying before the year's out, we're going to be wheels up shooting.
Cool.
So, that's yet to be seen, but we're close. And we all feel really good. Frank feels good about the script. Joe feels good about the script. I feel good about the script.
Yeah.
And I think it's a unique take. So, really excited about it. I'm so excited about it. it's just good shit, man.
Yeah.
It would be great to see on. I would love to see Grillo take that character on. Like it's such a good character. He's so brilliant.
Yeah.
With what he does. I just want to see him. I want to see him do it. And I want to see who they're going to cast, because that makes a big difference. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, you have more polls than I do, but I'm just going to throw this out as a suggestion for you to pass on to those guys. Dude, film in the south side of Chicago.
Hey, now we're talking. That's great.
Because
with your builder out there.
Because I'm telling you, you could. It's a really interesting look out here. If you're thinking about Calgary, well, hell. But that would be fun to have all you guys in the backyard.
Hell yeah, man.
Because
Chicago's great. I love it.
I know. Next time you come out here, man, we gotta live it up a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny, man, because people forget. Like, I had a whole nother life.
Yeah.
You know, like people forget. Like, it's funny. Like the short-term memory of this town. Like they think like, oh, Adam was like, struggling as an actor and then finally broke into the business.
Yeah, well, he had the security gig.
Yeah, I was doing bodyguard work for freaking 12 years, man. Like, the only areas of the world that I have not set foot in are Australia, Antarctica, the extreme northern Yukon, and Iraq.
Ooh.
But I've been to Saudi Arabia, Iran, I've been, I've been all over the freaking world.
You've been to Iran?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I was in Tehran in 90. When was that? No. That was 2000. Who the hell knows?
It's all. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I remember when I stayed in Istanbul, I stayed in the hotel that was the Midnight Express.
Okay.
It was the prison. That prison has now been converted into a Midnight Express. Is that right? What was the movie?
Midnight Express was in Turkey. Yeah, Midnight Express.
Midnight Express.
Midnight Run was De Niro and Charles Grodin.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, the prison got converted into a hotel.
Oh, that's really weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's wild. And you sit in there and you're like, oh man, all this shit that's played. It's crazy. Totally nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, baby.
What's that?
Crazy, baby.
Yeah, I get it. Well, is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't covered? Is there anything?
No, man. I just think those people, those freaking Point Blank, man. Stella Paris, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie is stellar. Frank Grillo is out of control. He really, even for an action scene, that's moments where he really gets to swing for the fences. Christian Cook is just grounded and fucking real and amazing. Marquise Moore is out of control. Daniel Arrow is phenomenal. Marcia Gay Harden is like Steven.
Oh man, Marcia Gay Harden is like got ice in her veins in that movie.
Yeah, she's 100%. And freaking Boris McKenna is phenomenal. Like everyone is just going their way, man. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and it is.
Stupid patrolman, patrolman number one. I think that was the only bad cat.
Yeah, that guy was terrible.
Yeah, and fucking, come on, dude. Like overacting. God, overacting.
Dude, how many times did you rehearse that stunt where you fell backwards? Because I was like, when I watched it the second time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just sitting there thinking about him slamming his head against the back and then falling down.
Like, yeah, dude, I jacked myself on that. In all honesty, I worked that scene 3 times with Frank Torres, who was handling like all the fight choreography and and the rest of the stunt guys. And you know, it was a little bump, and I've done stunts before, but we ran through it and they were starring, and they're like, but you know, do it like this, and there was a little bit of give to the wall because it was a set.
Okay.
It wasn't an actual elevator.
Oh, good.
So the wall was actually made out of wood.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of give to it. So I was able to give myself a mild concussion and come out all right.
Awesome. Just a mild one.
Yes, just a mild one.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this again.
100%, man. Anytime. I love talking this shit.
Yeah.
It's great, dude.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. All right. Well, I'll be in touch with when it goes up and all that, and yeah, we'll be in touch about other things too.
Awesome, buddy.
All right. Take care.
Get out of here. Thank you for the time.
Oh no, thank you, man.
All right, brother.
All right. Talk to you later.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Cool.
All right, man.
Bye.
Later.